with an opportunity to get that early break back. Chung into Simon.
Good movement.
Good reset there.
Yeah, defender got a hand on it, but it wasn't quite enough.
Just enough spin on that. Ooh, high grab from that. More. And what a gainer. Just behind that brick point now. More asking for it, but going up the line instead. More getting it now, looking into a very static stack in the end zone. Not a lot of movement, but just enough for some people to run it, and that disc is tipped and not caught.
Yeah, Spice looked a little bit too keen to get into their end zone set. A bit too static.
That's just unfortunate. Around throw. So many people underneath it. It was those three players could have gotten that disc, but just tipped too high. And that's a beautiful leading pass into the halfway point, and a huge throw hanging up in the air. Two players underneath it, and the DTS player grabs that disc to get that goal, and that was easy for DTS.
Very nice shot. To that far corner. Just sitting it out into space. Loads of time for the receiver to run on.
That was definitely using what the defense gave them, like
Oh, for sure.
the break pass from Katarina Anse.
Yeah, they got into a power position, and they made the most of it. Spice did pretty well at the start of that possession to make DDS work it around the back for a few passes, although DDS didn't look all that keen to initiate from the stack, which was interesting to see. They basically looked straight at the reset. And then
Yeah, because they get the disc moving differently from there, right? You open up the break side a lot, because if you put it into this one of the sides, the break side shot just gets easier. And we saw them earlier already using that break side throw, the insides, to their advantage.
But yeah, they did really well to set up that power position and convert with the deep shot. So something for Spice to keep in mind on defense in future, but they've got to get this offensive hold in first.
Gibson with that disc. Oh, and that is a close defense there. Getting it back in the middle. Defense by DTS seems a bit off. They're poaching.
Yeah, not as close this point.
Up the line, just in front of the end zone for Spice. Oh, and that's in. Poor Gibson. He's getting all the goals for Spice.
Yeah, Gibson putting in work.
Heather Gibson, that is.
Yeah, DDS never really looked close on that possession.
They look kind of off, yeah, with defense.
Yeah, not as close as they were in previous points.
Maybe they wanted to try something else, try something new, some poachy stuff.
I mean, I can believe they were shading deep of their matchups, but Spice haven't really shown us much of a deep game so far, so that would have been an interesting defensive choice to make. Spice are doing really well of getting free on those undercuts, and yeah, just taking what the defense gave them, walking it in. Yeah. They look a lot more confident than they did at the start of the game, I have to say.
Yeah, they definitely got into it. But that's a typical phenomenon, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's to be expected.
Yeah. Also, because he said undercuts, my experience from playing against GB teams, their cutting technique is in general very good compared to what the rest of Europe is doing, or rather Europe, because you don't see yourself as part of European.
We're part of Europe. The EU is not Europe.
Yeah, but like.
Anyway.
It's a weird geographic fact.
Not mainland Europe. Oh, nice find.
Oh. between Anse, putting it to Milda. So many give and goes. They're also doing that quick disc movement.
Love to see it.
Oh, and a huge hawk goes up. Chloe with a high stall count, and that's caught in the end zone.
Yeah. The receiver had position the whole time. Great throw to find that option in the end zone.
Yeah, and that looked like a very pressured, like high stall throw, but
yeah, DTS looked a bit stuck before that throw.
That's the downside of that moving a lot. A lot of people have the feeling of needing to get open to get that disc and cutting each other off in the process.
Well, the start of the point, they were doing really, really well to just constantly have options available, and it was a lot of just popping the disc to the nearest player. But then later on in the point, I think a few players who'd just been involved in that went downfield a bit more, and suddenly those close to the disc options just weren't really there. And suddenly the offense looked a lot more static, and they required that high stall shot to the end zone. But fortunately, they had a fantastic receiver on the other end.
And it's good for us too, because that means more good highlights. Ooh, that was beautiful.
Slick clap.
Yeah.
I think the audio came through on the stream as well. Hope you all got to hear that. It's very clean.
And that pull is out of bounds. And Spice is coming out in a side stack, isolating one person in the middle.
This is how they like to initiate.
So is that person cutting?
Yeah, sometimes it's the ISO, sometimes it's the second handler.
Oh, and Gibson is completely open. That's not a good idea. I wouldn't call that good defense. If you leave that, arguably one of their best players, completely open. And that's how they get it just in front of the end zone and beautifully worked into it.
So clean.
That was too easy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Why would you?
I don't think they deliberately left Kate Gibson free the whole point. I don't think that was a deliberate choice. I think
looked like they left out the second handler.
Yeah, there was a poach somewhere, and then they just never recovered. And Spice exploited it the whole way down the pitch and punched in the goal.
See that again. Gibson completely open. Trouble there. Beautiful into space, just up the line.
Yeah. Very nice offense. I hope the game stays this tight. This is exciting.
I think from the looks of it, they're just, you know.
Both teams are kind of in their groove now.
Yeah.
Like the early game jitters are gone.
I think from now on, it's just doing these little things right, like not keeping it, like not blowing your defensive matchup. And then
Yeah.
I think they're pretty evenly matched.
I mean, it looks that way, but I suspect that one team might run away with it at some point if the other just lets their foot off the gas a little bit.
Oh, well, I love those games. You have to, you have to perform. And I bet all these players love that too, because Spice is going to get that when going forward into walls.
Oh.
And there's a foul called. A run through D from Spice. Looks like a Vera of hand signals, so it's either it's uncontested. Looks like
looks
since
like
the DTS players.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were doing the hand signals now.
I feel like the Spice player signaled turnover. But
yeah.
immediately gave the disc back.
Retracted turnover and.
But anyway, DTS still have the disc. That's the point.
Beautiful leading throw into space, just around their brick point now. The DTS putting up the line. On another hammer, getting up for Kunaliten. just out of the hands.
So
Baboa
close.
Kundalita nearly getting her a hand on that disc for the grab.
All right, straight into the hex setup for Spice this time. No side stack.
So many people cutting in the same space though. Good movement to the other side now, and a big throw goes up.
Nice
Beautiful. Archer with a catch that is ignored, but now up the line into the end zone, and that was too easy. Or
fantastic work from Spice.
For Spice.
Fantastic work. So they set up straight in the hex, and as you said earlier in the point, there were too many people moving. This is one of the problems that teams face when trying to implement hex offense, is because the players are already spread out in the space, there is a lot less space to run in. So if too many players are moving at once, there's absolutely no space. It's somewhat akin to too many people cutting in vert stack. I'm sure you've all been there. You know, vert stack only has 3 spaces you can be in: break side, open side, and deep. And as soon as you've got more than 2 people cutting, there's no space. And similar kind of thing happens in hex. And Spice were caught out by that for a brief moment before they found an option to this near sideline. But then they managed to find that free player down the line and convert it into a goal. So good work. They do have a way to go to really clean up their offense and make it world class, but they're doing well to find these options.
For such a young team.
Oh yeah, like they're very new. They're a very new team. Very new to hex as well.
I heard they're kind of a mixture of under 24 players on the women's side.
Yeah,
really
Kate Gibson played on 24, for example.
Huge gainer for DTS. Going out midfield. So many people. And there's a foul call from Gibson, who might have called a push off.
I didn't see it. I have no idea what happened.
I think the DTS player wanted to do a cut and ran into her opponent. Since she wasn't involved in that play, we'll just stay with the other DTS player. Players cutting each other off again. And that disc just too high.
They're looking for these big IO breaks again though.
Well, if they work.
Yeah, what if they work?
If not, could have gone around as well.
Side stack.
Huge throw for that Spice player, laying out for it. Just
close.
Tipped.
So close.
So close. Beautiful shot.
Interesting that they decided to go into the side stack rather than straight into hex that time.
It looked like the setup was already there. One player isolated. So get out of jail free card for DTS. Huge up the line gainer, and she thinks about throwing it and throws it.
Oh, Spice got lucky there. I think Yorworth in the back of the stack called a switch on that undercut. No one picked it up. DTS throw away.
Just in the back of the receiver. Nichols with the disc. Beautiful round. Gibson putting it to her sister on the other side of the field. And Kate Gibson again without the defender.
They just don't want to mark. They just don't want to mark.
I get it. She's so good. I don't want to get broken on her, but like giving her that much space and a huge throw
too far
out at the side, and players signaling that it went out of bounds early. And that's just pushing it too far, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I said earlier that Spice hadn't really shown us much of a deep game, and they still kind of haven't. They've had a couple of like nice lead passes, but nothing really far and threatening.
I get wanting to play deep as well, but giving your receiver a chance is really important. And
yeah, I think
you don't have to push it.
Yeah, I mean the option was there, but yeah, maybe just putting a bit too much on that throw.
So I think the option is really tight, because if you're already at the sideline and then putting out
it's same third.
So yeah, same third, exactly. Just don't have to push it that far. And what a poach off.
Gibson did well to avoid contact there.
Up the line gainer. Just in front of
That was a drop.
the break point, but unfortunate drop for DTS, and that's another option for Spice. Okay, Gibson with a mark this time. Looking for her sister. Oh, beautiful cut. And so open again.
Yeah, missed switch from DTS.
Gibson in the middle. Your worth. Back and pass into space, but into a poaching defender rather.
Yeah, Spice got baited there. DTS were eyeing up that run through D the whole time. And a timeout.
Timeout by DTS.
Yeah, DTS do need this point. So smart timeout call. Just want to talk briefly about the defense from Spice. Earlier in this point, on DTS's last possession, they set up in a vertical stack, and we saw Spice surrounding it. So not all of the defenders were on that open side. They were forcing towards the line on the far side, I believe, and they had most of their defenders on that far side. But there was at least one on this near side, and they were just taking whoever runs at them. Not playing strict one-to-one. They had somebody covering the deep. They had somebody covering the break side, and ultimately they got the block.
Yeah, well then, that's one of the risks when going vert stack. You can easily take away the options because you know what happens. You only have these two spaces, open side or break side, and someone has to cut in there and has to get that disc there. There's not much more you can do. So clamming that and taking away the initial options is rather easy on that setup. Yeah,
I mean, I feel like this is, it's almost sort of ancient wisdom in the Ultimate community. You know, back in the early 2000s in the US, vert stack was the only thing being played. And then teams started getting really good at playing defense against it. And in that early 2000s time, we saw teams like Furious George, and I can't remember the other team that was Furious George from Vancouver, and I think it was Revolver from San Francisco, but I can't remember. There was another team that both independently invented host stack at the same time. And those two teams won like 5 or 6 national titles in a row, just because all of the teams playing vert stack were going up against teams that were very well drilled at playing defense against it. And the teams that were playing host stack had a lot more freedom because teams weren't as well drilled against it. Yeah, but the meta's shifted back, and now we see vert stack at the highest level. And it's almost like we've forgotten how to play defense against it properly, but it's great to see teams like Spice out here surrounding it.
New ways of playing it, isn't there?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, teams got better at it for sure.
Yeah, and then are you initiating the back or the front of the stack? And I think, you know, that you can do so many things with it, like clear out everyone and have an isolation, but cover it as a vert stack.
Yeah, I think teams did get better at exploiting non-strict one-to-one defense, because the real risk when you're surrounding a stack like this is the miscommunication. It is if two defenders cover the same player running towards them, then somebody else is wide open, and good teams will take that small advantage and run with it and score.
What do you think about that setup on DTS side here, split stack?
Well, they were playing split stack earlier, and Spice again were poaching off of it very intelligently. Like the stack that was furthest away from the disc, they had players in that deep space. They had players poaching in the open, in the open channel. So we'll see how they get on.
Beautiful cut. And up the line there for DTS, working it quickly. And a huge throw is going up into the end zone, and better read by the Spice defender, and that's pushing it.
Yeah, DTS did really well the first few passes, but getting a little bit too hasty towards the end of that possession. Nice grab.
Good grab by Kate Gibson there. Putting it up to her sister. Ooh. Unfortunate. She got low there, thought she had to lay out, but...
Yeah, I think Gibson just lost their footing a little bit on the catch.
Although those fields are so great.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Up the line. Back into the middle. Oh, and that's a throw directly into the ground. She
rushed it.
Yeah, rushed it, wanted to do a kind of a throw and go motion, but threw it into the grass.
Throw and go forehand is tricky. Take some practice, but if you've got it, it's really, really powerful.
Definitely is. Faking out her defenders, Heather Gibson. They're poaching off now. Those handlers. Gibson in a power position. Gainer now. And another huge gain of yards. Spice now in front of their end zone, opting to go around. No handler back. Putting it up into the end zone, and Kate Gibson with that grab.
Good read.
Got a bit lucky there.
Yeah,
there
nice.
Was no handler.
Yeah.
Second handler.
Yeah, I think it was Christy Toe on the disc. Didn't have any support. Decided to chuck it into the end zone, hope for the best, and Gibson was there
that works.
to bring it down. So, as you say, they did get a bit lucky, I feel.
Well, I would have loved to see a continuation. You saw that fake here. She would have needed a continuation to the break side, but nobody really dare. And Kate Gibson just in a perfect position. Kate Gibson, sorry, perfect position to get that disc.
Well read.
So since you're watching us here, give you live coverage, and you're probably having your first coffee of the morning. Do you know what you can do for the price of a coffee? Support us on Patreon. The link is in the description. Go to Patreon, give us a bit of your money. It's £3, €3 a month, and we can bring you so much more high quality coverage. You can fund us commentators going to all these events. Do it. Go to Patreon. Give us your money, please. Anse now, putting it into the middle. Up that smile, moving it up the field. Great grab there, and what an inside shot, moving it all the way over to the break side, and I thought she was gonna throw that around.
Yeah.
But they're a fan of the insides. Kundalita with the disc in hand, looking for an option, very static. And now everyone's cutting, and answer with that amazing grab, and there's a down call by the Spice side, but they've agreed to retract it, and Katarina Anse now with the disc in front of the end zone. Good movement from DTS now. And a huge inside out throw into space. Is she gonna keep it in?
What?
And she laid out for it to keep it inside and just out of.
They towed it in so well, and just tragic drop on the layout. But DTS looked so good for most of that point, moving the disc really quickly, just popping it back and forth between the players and the disc. But then right at the end of the end zone, the stack was just a bit too deep and disconnected from the handlers. And
do you think they wanted that?
I think they set up their end zone offense a little, like one pass too soon.
On a blown coverage, exploited by Spice, and just a bit too late on that layout.
Tough catch.
Kundalita with the disc, putting it into play quickly. A bit static here, trying to find a setup again. Good grab. Under pressure, and a huge puck goes up into the end zone, just too far out of reach, and the poached defender running there as well.
Spice were close on defense that whole point, and they are rewarded with the turnover.
Another intense, longer point, really battling for it. So Spice is up by 2. Do you think that they're team with a bit more momentum right now?
I think so, especially if they score this. I think they're in a really good spot. I mean, DTS can definitely come back, but it's going to be tough.
Overshooting.
Spice keep giving them opportunities, though.
Yeah.
Like, this point has just been nothing but execution errors.
Yeah, unforced arrows, individuals.
Yeah. Like, it feels like both teams have just sort of dropped the focus level a little bit.
But I get that after playing a few high-intensity points with a lot of turnovers. This flick up the line is also a very hard throw to execute because you have to put a lot of touch on it.
Yeah, it's a hard throw.
Oh, and what a defense.
Foul has been called.
Seems like the Spice player agrees.
Yeah.
Tough defense.
Yeah, Spice are real close. Every throw.
Pull up the line with this one now.
As demonstrated by that run through D.
Just a bit too easy.
Yeah, but again, Spice have been just throwing away a little bit on this possession, so they need to put it in. Ooh.
Oh, and that's a commentator's curse right here for you, Luke.
Hey, I bear no responsibility for that turnover. That's on them.
You called it. DTS once again quick to pick up, which I like as a strategy in general. Beautiful cut from Kundalita. Looking for an option, throwing it deep for Anse, who's grabbing that for a goal. What a catch.
Wow.
I think she's only 18 or 19 years old. She's very young, but very experienced already.
That was such a good grab. So they, as the disc went up, they positioned themselves right where they thought they would catch it, held their ground as the Spice defender backed into them, and then just as the disc goes over the Spice defender, they take a step back, go at one hand, as we see here on the replay. Like that subtle 1 meter separation between the defender and the receiver was crucial, like crucial to the catch. You know, if both players are 1 meter further to the left there, that's a block. But the receiver held the ground, went up at the right time, and caught the disc under pressure for the goal. So, as I was saying, if Spice had scored that point, they're in a really, really good position. But now, I can feel a DTS break coming.
Oh,
like,
are you calling another thing?
Not necessarily this point, but
okay.
You know, if Spice don't confidently put this in, then you know DTS could get a bit of a D-roll going, maybe.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see what they're putting up on D. If it's going to be matchup or something else from DTS, because they've changed that up, and that's a run through block from DTS.
That was a tight throw.
She baited that too.
Yeah. I mean, Toe had a option in field, but
also I'm not the biggest fan of inside shots, so that might just
especially
be
roll
my
curve
bias.
inside shots. Yeah.
I always think that an around shot gets you into a far better position.
There's a tight space to throw to as well.
Oh, and what a throw, putting it up to space. And
what? Just
out of the hands. Would have been bookends for DTS here, but that's a free pass for Spice.
Spice got let off the hook there for sure.
Gibson out in space, beautiful grab, and oh, I thought she was going to throw that, and she does! He's underneath it, and just a missed coverage there on D from Maietta. Oh no, low release, flick, just in front of the end zone now, Gibson looking for someone, finds her sister. And up the line.
Oh, nice play.
And is that in?
You're in the end zone for the score. Wow. So Spice got let off the hook multiple times that point. I mean, I kind of called the break, and I was almost right.
Oh, yeah.
I can
give you that.
It was as close to a break as you could possibly get without it not being a break. But again, on the deep shot to toe, like, Yorwith held the disc on, like, faked the first time and then threw it, which almost always leads to a turnover because the receiver's just, like, in the completely wrong place after the fake. Like, there's, you know, the timing is just not there anymore. And somehow the DTS defender didn't quite get enough on it. Toe gets up, gets 2 hands to it, makes the catch. And Spice transition into a nice, calm end zone offense and slot it in. So
that's definitely something they've improved on during that game.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, at the start
Calmness.
it was rough, but yeah, their end zone offense looking much better towards the end of this first half.
So this is a must-score point for DTS. Do you agree on that?
Yeah, I can't remember who's... DTS started on defense, so they will be coming out on defense at the start of the second half. And if they're 3 points down as well, then that's rough.
Pole just lands out of bounds, so DTS are going to walk it to the brick mark. Looks like another split stack play. Spice poaching off. Oh, and that's just blown coverage. And what a grab by Babora Kunalita. He's using that very free player, Anse, pointing and directing traffic. Ups to go back and around, switch to the other side. Red Zone pointing again. She really wants that hammer. Ups to not take it. Very many different cuts. Goes to for the easy one up the line, to the open side. Anse now looking for the end zone, and what a grab by Kunalita. You can see those two have played together before.
Oh, for sure. So right at the start of that point, Spice set up a kind of a bracket on that far split stack, but the switch was called, but like kind of half-heartedly. So the player at the back of the stack runs under, their defender follows them. The player at the front of the stack also follows the player in, doesn't fully commit to the switch. That left one player free far down the field. We saw that amazing one-handed pickup.
And that wasn't even that good of a throw. It was just
no,
enough.
But the point is that Spice almost got a free turnover, but you know, most of the time that play is going to result in DTS just having free end zone offense. Like you can't if you're going to bracket on a 2-player split stack like that. You really need to commit to either stopping the deep or stopping the under. And what happened there is neither player really committed to the poach position that they were in. And there was a bit of a lack of communication, and DTS punished it.
With just calling and communicating it better, they're already done, because then the other player runs off to that deep a bit earlier. And
they would have been coverage. There should have been.
Even the best, like better coverage, since the throw was a bit behind the player.
Yeah.
Oh, and a huge one goes up there from Spice, putting it into the end zone.
Oh, wow.
Beautifully collected by Gibson, who spikes it. That's a bit intense, isn't it?
But what a throw. To get round, like the height matchup was not in Spice's favor, but the throw was so good. Gets around the defender, and Spice do take half. 8-6.
Jumps early to get that disc, but well collected for Spice, and that's half. Heather Gibson, definitely the person that scored the most goals for Spice. I think maybe 3 to 4 goals.
I've not been keeping track, but the Gibsons between them been putting in work this first half, and Spice should be proud of themselves. Coming back from a bit of a shaky start in this game. Their first point not being able to complete more than 1 or 2 passes to having a 2-point lead. Coming out on offense at the start of the second half.
They're going into the shade now, managing their bodies.
It's
good idea.
Good choice.
Yeah. It's going to be sunny and hot today, all day, and they got 3 more games after this one. We also got some more games for you today.
Yeah, plenty of action coming up all weekend long. We got not 1, not 1.5, but 2 whole pitches here at Windmill all weekend.
How would that work?
You stream every other game on that pitch.
Yeah.
I thought about this.
That makes sense. Sorry for
There's
doubting
logic
you.
to it. Yeah, so much action coming. All 3 divisions from what is one of the best tournaments in the world.
Well, the best.
The best.
One of
the best.
No, the best tournament.
Christina calling it.
Yeah, 100%.
Heard it here.
Prove me wrong. Try. Comment below.
Yeah.
If you think that
Chuck your opinions in the chat. Which tournament is better than Windmill?
None. There's no better tournament.
Blasto is pretty good, Christina.
Wait, what?
It's a fun tournament in the UK,
well,
which LTTV also streams.
Really?
Typically to the Blasto YouTube channel. We don't.
So,
we don't leave that.
Do you actually think it's better than Windmill?
Oh no, not even close.
Good. Good.
But
that's what I wanted to hear.
I mean, yeah, this is almost like more than a tournament. It's like a festival.
Yeah, it is.
But
I can agree on that.
The ultimate is a crucial, but not necessarily the entire point of this event.
Ultimate. Fair.
We're here for the party as well, you know?
Yeah. I'm here for the party.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah, we're not here for the frisbee.
No. Just like talking. You can see Spice getting ready for that second half, so. You know what, Windmill, with that Swiss draw, the conditions, game parameters are a bit different. There's 75-minute games, and then at the end, I believe it's play the last. There's a horn.
Yeah.
And then you play jingle. Yeah. Then you play the last point.
And that's the show.
And that's it.
Yeah.
No.
GG.
No cap one. Just the end.
Yeah. Draws are allowed because the way Swiss typically works is you score points based on the result. I think goal difference matters to some extent. So a goal difference of 0 is worth some number of points. A goal difference of +5 is worth more. We calculate the matchups for the next round and we go again. But the way that the day's going to work is we're going to have, I think, a women's game on one pitch and an open game on the other, one round. And then the next round will be 2 mixed games. And then we alternate like that. There's significantly more mixed teams at this tournament than open and women's. The women's division is pretty small this year, actually.
It is, yeah, because I bet because London Invite is next week.
Yes.
Where all the elite teams are.
Some of them are here. I mean, Spice are playing London Invite next weekend.
And then,
for example,
Icenia's.
I think Icenia are here. I've been staring at the team list all week. I really I should know it by now.
No, Icenia. Well, no, it's not.
Icenia are at London Invite.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a few teams that are doing both, but I think.
Well, if you have to choose, you want to.
I mean, in the Worlds, yeah.
If you're prepping for Worlds, and you can choose any, you would rather. I guess most teams would rather go to London Invite and focus on playing rather than having this tournament festival.
It is the more serious warm-up event, and I think the standard will be higher as well. But there are still some phenomenal teams here this weekend.
DTS coming out on offense after this halftime, and that's a huge throw into space. Well, pick up there by Spice. Calling a play to get that break.
So I was completely wrong about which team was starting an offense. My bad. I thought DDS got a break to start the game, but maybe
yeah,
not.
they did. That's why they're starting an.
That's why they're starting an offense.
Offense
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Logic makes sense.
Ah, it's still early.
It is.
Gibson over to Nichols. Oh, and seeing Nichols is free again, but picked up by someone else. Chrissy Toe. Gibson now looking for a sister. Finding Yoeth instead. Red zone for Spice. Far calmer than the last time. And putting it up to space on a high stall, and it's defended well by DTS.
Gibson was close.
So they were calmer in the red zone. Might have been a bit too calm.
A bit too calm. Well, I don't know. That didn't look like a very calm throw. Roll curve, backhand to the break side. And I think the average height of DTS is...
But they didn't rush it. They didn't like put a blade into
okay,
the
it wasn't
open
immediate.
side.
Yeah, it wasn't a scuba. I don't know. Maybe the scuba would have been better.
Hammer would have been better.
Lefty? I don't know. I think the scuba would have been better.
Ah, she's a lefty scuba. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. My bad. DTS now really wanting to punch that in. Oh, beautiful inside shot. Picked up and very deep player. That could be just on the middle line, and another throw that is into the ground.
More execution errors plaguing DTS.
Getting a bit too eager to get that disc out of her hands. Gibson puts it into space, and what a pickup there by...
Such vision from Gibson, finding that open player.
Toe into the middle to Nichols, who can't grab that disc.
Popped out the hand.
They're taking their time now with picking up the disc. I'd rather they put it into play quicker. Make things easier for them for sure. A round shot just in front of that player. Has to go down the ground, and the disc just catches the grass instead of her hands, and that's an opportunity for Spice. Gibson with the disc, looking for Toe. Out in front, inside shot into the end zone. And that's a goal for Spice, a break. And that second half starting the way DTS started the first half.
Yeah, Spice definitely looking like the better team at this point. DDS feels like they're in their own heads a little bit, just throwing discs far too low for the receivers.
They're pushing for options that are not 100% there. But that's
well, like the players are open, but the thrower's just lacking in just a little bit of composure, and you know, throwing a frisbee is such a fine skill. Like it's so precise, and if you're not fully in control, it's very easy for it to just go too low, go too high, and we've seen that happening for
I
DTS.
think that's due to the tough defense Spice is playing on them.
For sure.
As if they're so close as they are, you have to put that disc further in front and into a position where they make sure that the defense can't reach them. And doubting yourself like that just results in putting that disc too far into the ground.
And I think the close defensive Spice just raises the stress level a bit as well of the throws. Oh, good defense.
There you see that stress level, that close defense from Spice. Another red zone opportunity for Spice. Taylor picking up that disc, putting it into space beautifully. And that was a straight shot.
Yep, it's the classic ISO at the front of the end zone play. You need to double mark that. Like, you need someone on the break side, you need someone on the open side. Otherwise, that happens.
But made so easy by positioning her on herself right next to her, opening up that inside shot. Although that shot is really hard to execute well.
Yeah, it's a tight shot, but there was just enough space to make it comfortable. So
Spice definitely with the momentum now.
Yeah, they're looking good.
Going into the shade might have just given them
yeah, that was
energy.
the edge. Yeah, DTS were in the sun the whole of halftime. That's some 200 IQ halftime management from Spice.
Do you know what I heard? That at least in Estonia, people are so happy that they see the sun, they actually don't put on sunscreen.
Oh, they love
it.
Yeah.
And want to stay in the sun as much as possible because they don't get as much sun up there.
Yeah.
I wonder if, just as in Estonia, it's the same thing for Lithuanians and Latvians.
Maybe.
Shout out to my friend Helen, who told me that, and ran around.
Winters can be pretty brutal in that part of the world.
But
I don't know about the summers though. I mean, I'm going to find out actually, because next month I'm going to a beach tournament in Lithuania.
Oh, are you?
I'm so excited.
Fun, I bet. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Hope the weather's good. If the weather's like this, I think we're going to suffer.
Well, that's all the fun about beach tournaments, isn't it?
Oh, I'm not complaining.
Good.
I'm there for it.
I thought suffering was a negative thing.
No, I mean it is, but I don't care.
DTS now.
Ooh,
miscommunication. No. Yeah, and they're really struggling to find players now.
There's a real lack of confidence in the movement of the DTS players when they're on offense.
Gibson picking up that disc, putting it into space for a sister. Oh, and a high shot over her receiver and picked up by only a DTS player. The wind picking up a little bit and getting that disc over.
Slight crosswind coming from the far side of the field now.
As we say, sliding.
It just picked up.
Quite a bit going towards us, so from the
double catch
far to the side of your screen. And
it looks like DTS will maintain possession.
Bit of discussion about DTS with that disc. Putting it up into space. And a huge hawk going up to a very deep receiver, but she reads it better, wants to put it in immediately. Chooses not to though, as there's not a lot of cuts developing. Looks for a dump and gets it. Back in the middle, and another huge shot going off of Babora Kundelito to the side, and that's a goal for DTS.
Wow. What a point for DTS. They needed that.
That was a trust shot.
Oh yeah. I mean, even the end zone throw was a trash shot to some extent. Like, the space was there, but it was wide. But
if you have someone like Babora Kundelito on your team and free in that space, you can put it up for days.
You back your receiver. They did so well to bring down that long shot.
Beautiful, look at that. 2 Spice defenders on there, but nobody in a position to actually get there first. Yeah. Celebrations.
I mean, DTS have some work to do still, though. They're not quite back in the game yet.
Still have time to do it, though.
But if they can put together some more offense like that, yeah, it's not necessarily the prettiest, but if they come down with a few trust shots like that in a row, that can get into Spice's head.
And as you said before, as you explained the Swiss draw, it's not necessarily they have to win; they have to just be really close. Because even being down 3 or 2 points makes a difference in seeding, right? Another short floaty pull by DTS.
Side stack from Spice again.
A blown coverage bit on the DTS side. Throw it into space. Oh, and a hawk going up for Archer. And that's defended, but a foul is called as Archer hits the ground. An uncontested foul. Huge. Disc up to not a lot of space, and it's a dog with a frisbee. And disc goes back to Archer. Spice just in front of the end zone now. Going around, beautiful, and put into space, but just too high. But too much.
Yeah, that's the upwind throw.
As the wind has changed, this throw is really impacted, even if you, especially if you put it with an angle. But rushed that first throw. So happy she was open. That this just hit the ground, and that's an opportunity for Spice. More picking up that disc. Faking, looking for an option. Put back into Moore's hands, or near them.
Both teams with the throwing errors.
Picking up that disc quickly. Really love seeing that.
Nice forehand give go.
And that disc is up, but a foul called on the other play. But the disc will stay with the player who caught it, I think.
Oh, it might as well.
That was a good grab. Heads up play. Oh, and a flick blade.
Too much roll curve on that one. It's another grindy point.
Just rushing now, DTS. Moving the disc to the other side of this field of Spice. Thinks about the huck. Takes a continuation instead with a big fake. Goes back to Moore for a reset. And a huge gainer up to the line of defense. Not really on the Spice players now. Nice cut, but late in throwing that layout D attempt.
Wow.
Just in front and lying on the ground, but I hope she's okay. Looks like she's just really frustrated she didn't get there.
So close to that block. It was a risky throw, throwing that low. Yeah, the receiver was open, but you know, a big athletic layout.
It was a late throw.
Could have got it. Look how close this is.
Oh, that is so close.
Yeah,
she knows that was a bit lucky.
Damn. But that's just the position Spice are in this game. You know, they are the more confident team at this point. They're feeling good, whereas this DTS seem a bit in their own head still. Some lack of confidence on the throws, lack of confidence on the movement, and
especially if things like that this work out.
Yeah,
I get that you're a bit frustrated.
If it goes honestly, if it goes the other way, if DTS get a few scores like that, where you know Spice get really close and feel like the other team got a bit lucky, then
they don't even have to score; they just have to get that D. It's
centimeters. Yeah, that's what I mean. They get if they get blocks, if they get those blocks, if they come down with some of the tight catches, as they have done already in this game, then the momentum could easily swing the other way. But Spice are not letting up.
We still got a bit of time.
So
momentum can swing. Still the potential to.
Yeah, DTS need to find some inspiration.
DTS now on their own brick mark. Could lead to putting it up into space, up the line.
Much better.
Into the end zone. That was easy. That was a bit too easy, right?
I mean, Spice were there. They were fairly close on defense, but DTS found that inspiration they needed. They put together those passes, found some shots down the inside, and confident offense again.
It seemed like a lot more space for the DTS players to put throws into, rather than pushing it into small corners.
To some extent, they gave themselves easier throws. I mean, they have been missing on some of the some fairly open receivers, but in this case, it looked like every single thrower looked like they had just more composure, more confidence. Yeah, they're still here to play. They haven't given up yet.
Well, as I said before, saying it again, giving up at Swiss draw, not a good idea. Gotta stay as close as you can.
Fight the whole way.
Ed Shardlow, who asks, is Windmill better than Paganello? Have you ever been to
I've not been to Paga.
Well,
I think back in the day, I think there was a time maybe where Paga was better, but I don't think. I think these days, Windmill is the tournament of choice.
Party at Paga is pretty amazing, but so is the party in Windmill. Oh, big fake from Taylor. And a run fluke block. What a way to get that D. She was baiting that so good.
What a read of the offense.
Getting that catch just inside, towing the line and putting it deep into the end zone, and that's a goal. A break for DTS.
DTS are here to play. Only 2 points down now.
And that was easy. That was
so easy.
The way we saw them in the first few points of the game. Good to see that they have it in themselves. Beautiful shot there in open space. Look at that grab. So this is 70 minutes of game time.
Yeah. So yeah.
Hear the jingle.
So there was a jingle. I think that means 5 minutes left.
Got 5 minutes left in that game, as we confirmed.
That's enough time for DDS to come back.
Yeah.
To 11-0.
Definitely.
Easy.
Especially if they keep scoring quickly like that.
Yeah.
Because we haven't really seen either team very clean, but the
it's been a
things
while.
DTS just did there was two very clean offensive points. Possessions, rather.
Yeah. Ball lands in bounds.
Both Gibsons. The handler said throwing to a very open player, coaching off by DTS. Put people in an intense position there, and Gibson puts it to Nichols. Into the middle, back to Gibson. A lot of chaos around, but an open player who does not use her position.
It's a misthrow.
And DTS is not really rushing to pick up that disc. Setting up in a vertical stack.
Spice kind of surrounding it. Good switch.
Oh, and a huge hop goes up. So many bodies underneath it, and nobody coming down with that disc. Out of the hands of the DTS.
Popped out of one hand. Went towards another player, but they couldn't quite get there.
Loads of pressure on that Spice.
That was another trust throw from DDS though. If they came down with that and scored, it would have been so huge.
Beautiful cut by Gibson. Looking for an option deep. Don't get it this time, and put away to cut off Kundalita. Inside shot. All brought down, and that's just too much, and I love that. Smack down of the disc, making sure no flying Spice player can grab that before it hits the ground.
Spice with the execution errors now though.
A weird setup here for DTS, but works out for them as they put it in deep, and it's a Blady shot. And
oh, what?
How did she get there? Kundalita now in the red zone, looking for an option, finds a reset. Surveying the field, it doesn't even get one good cut. Asking for an up the line shot that is put out too far into space. And that's the problem with asking for a disc and not running. You are a bit slower.
The throw could have been closer.
Quick to pick up. Execution errors from both sides as Kundalita is getting that disc, putting it into play early, and that's a risky shot over the top, but so much time for the defender, player to run under it. What a grab. Trailing at, manages to keep it in the end zone as well.
And that is game.
Looks like that's the game. And
So
Spice
they do win,
but super close.
There were 2 more points. I don't know, I think DTS could have come back and taken it. I wanted to see Universe, but it's Swiss draw, that's not how the format works.
It's a bit unsatisfying, isn't it? Getting that point, getting a huge point as well, because that catch was amazing, and then not winning this game.
So thank you for joining us for this first round women's division match. Up next, we've got Colorado versus Too Many Cooks. We'll be right back.